Top 106 Francis Bacon quotes. Knowledge is power. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Some books should be tasted, some devoured, but only a few should be chewed and digested thoroughly. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Money is a great servant, but a bad master. Reading mocketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present. I would live to study, not study to live. Small amounts of philosophy lead to atheism, but larger amounts bring us back to God. It's not what we eat, but what we digest that makes us strong, not what we gain, but what we save that makes us rich. Not what we read, but what we remember that makes us learned, and not what we profess, but what we practice that gives us integrity. Science is but an image of the truth. Truth is the daughter of time, not of authority. Reading mocketh a full man. By far the best proof is experience. Man prefers to believe what he prefers to be true. The best part of beauty is that which no picture can express. Studies serve for delight, for ornaments, and for ability. We rise to great heights by a winding staircase of small steps. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand, and melting like a snowflake. Fortitude is the marshal of thought, the armor of the will, and the fort of reason. If a man's wit be wandering, let him study the mathematics. I believe in deeply ordered chaos. Travel, in the younger sort, is a part of education, in the elder, a part of experience. Revenge is a kind of wild justice. A little philosophy inclineth man's mind to atheism, but depth in philosophy bringeth men's minds about to religion. Who questions much, shall learn much, and retain much. All colors will agree in the dark. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts, but if he will content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. Nature, to be commanded, must be obeyed. Histories make men wise, poets, witty, the mathematics, subtle, natural philosophy, deep, moral, grave, logic and rhetoric, able to contend. Without friends the world is but a wilderness. The virtue of prosperity is temperance, the virtue of adversity is fortitude. A prudent question is one half of wisdom. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. Age appears to be best in four things: old wood best to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. Beauty itself is but the sensible image of the infinite. If we are to achieve things never before accomplished, we must employ methods never before attempted. Wonder is the seed of knowledge. To know truly is to know by causes. He that hath knowledge spareth his words. Atheism leads a man to sense, to philosophy, to natural piety, to laws, to reputation, all of which may be guides to an outward moral virtue. Observation and experiment for gathering material, induction and deduction for elaborating it. These are our only good intellectual tools. Prosperity discovers vice, adversity discovers virtue. Write down the thoughts of the moment. Those that come unsought for are commonly the most valuable. Crafty men condemn studies, simple men admire them, and wise men use them, for they teach not their own use. But that is a wisdom without them, and above them, won by observation. The inquiry of truth, which is the love-making, or the wooing of it, the knowledge of truth, which is the presence of it, and the belief of truth, which is the enjoying of it, is the sovereign good of human nature. Things alter for the worse spontaneously, if they be not altered for the better designedly. The less people speak of their greatness, the more we think of it. Fortune is like the market, where, many times, if you can stay a little, the price will fall. For whatever deserves to exist deserves also to be known, for knowledge is the image of existence, and things mean and splendid exist alike. Seek ye first the good things of the mind, and the rest will either be supplied or its loss will not be felt. Truth is a naked and open daylight. Opportunity makes a thief. If we do not maintain justice, justice will not maintain us. Champagne for my real friends, real pain for my sham friends. A bachelor's life is a fine breakfast, a flat lunch, and a miserable dinner. If a man be gracious and courteous to strangers, it shows he is a citizen of the world. For a crowd is not company, and faces are but a gallery of pictures, and talk but a tinkling cymbal where there is no love. There is superstition in avoiding superstition. Art is man added to nature. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age and old men's nurses. The greatest trust between man and man is the trust of giving counsel. It is a sad fate for a man to die too well known to everybody else, and still unknown to himself. Life is a marshmallow, easy to chew but hard to swallow. I will never be an old man. To me, old age is always 15 years older than I am. Everybody has his own interpretation of a painting he sees. Nothing is to be feared but fear itself. Nothing grievous but to yield to grief. The greatest vicissitude of things amongst men is the vicissitude of sex and religions. Revenge is a kind of wild justice, which the more a man's nature runs to, the more ought law to weed it out. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. To seek to extinguish anger utterly is but a bravery of the Stoics. We have better oracles, be angry, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Men fear death as children fear to go in the dark, and as that natural fear in children is increased by tales, so is the other. The wonder of a single snowflake outweighs the wisdom of a million meteorologists. They are ill discoverers that think there is no land when they can see nothing but sea. Half of science is putting forth the right questions. A man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green. It is the peculiar and perpetual error of the human understanding to be more moved and excited by affirmatives than by negatives. When I paint I am ageless, I just have the pleasure or the difficulty of painting. Men in great place are thrice servants, servants of the sovereign or state, servants of fame, and servants of business. A principal fruit of friendship is the ease and discharge of the fullness and swellings of the heart, which passions of all kinds do cause and induce. Houses are built to live in, and not to look on, therefore let use be preferred before uniformity. Truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. Silence is the virtue of fools. It would be unsound fancy and self-contradictory to expect that things which have never yet been done can be done except by means which have never yet been tried. The folly of one man is the fortune of another. There is no comparison between that which is lost by not succeeding and that which is lost by not trying. We cannot command nature except by obeying her. It is natural to die as to be born. God has, in fact, written 2 books, not just one. Of course, we are all familiar with the first book he wrote, namely Scripture. but he has written a second book called Creation. The way of fortune is like the Milky Way in the sky, which is a number of small stars, not seen asunder, but giving light together, so it is a number of little and scarce discerned virtues, or rather faculties and customs, that make men fortunate. If the hill will not come to Mahomet, Mahomet will go to the hill. Laws and institutions must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind. He that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils, for time is the greatest innovator. Secrecy in suits goes a great way towards success. Nature is often hidden, sometimes overcome, seldom extinguished. The stage is more beholding to love than the life of man. For as to the stage, love is ever matter of comedies, and now and then of tragedies, but in life it doth much mischief, sometimes like a siren, sometimes like a fury. A lie faces God and shrinks from man. Certainly, it is heaven upon earth to have a man's mind move in charity, rest in providence, and turn upon the poles of truth. There are two books laid before us to study to prevent our falling into error. First, the volume of the Scriptures, which reveal the will of God, then the volume of the creatures, which express His power. The poets did well to conjoin music and medicine in Apollo, because the office of medicine is but to tune the curious harp of man's body and reduce it to harmony.